This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, I'm going to start letting everybody in. Welcome, everyone. Just be patient with me. I'm trying to let everybody in one at a time. Hello, everyone. Ooh, looks like I might have everybody. All right. I just let a bunch of people in. As more folks come in, Christina and myself will be letting them in. I wanted you all to know that we are recording as we always do. So if you want to watch this again, or if one of your neighbors missed it and wants to watch, then you can just go on to, just give me about an hour after the meeting so that I can shrink it down so that it's small enough to upload to your portal. And then I'll put it on the calendar for today, and I'll also put it under documents for board meetings. So you'll have the agenda will be there, and also the video that you can watch. Just going to go through a little bit of Zoom etiquette and some introductions for you all. Just a little bit of etiquette first. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, you'll see what looks like an old-timey microphone. An Elvis Presley microphone, I like to call that. And there's like a little upside down V next to it. So if you go to it and then click, you want to make sure you're muted, just so that there's not distraction and noises. So just make sure that you are muted. You'll see a big red line that goes through it, and you'll know that you're muted. And then it's totally your choice if you want to be on video or if you don't want to be. Right next to that old-timey microphone is an icon of a video camera. So again, if you click that upside down V right next to it, you can either be on camera or not be on camera. You can also choose a virtual background, like Ed is in space right now. So if you want to do something cool, you can choose a virtual background. That's always fun to do. And so then I'll just go ahead and get started with our introductions. Hopefully all of you guys know me. My name is Dawn Wood. I am Regional Association Manager for Nova Management Company and Manager for Oak Tree. I also have my colleague and amazing Vice President of Nova, Christina, is here with us. Some of you guys may know Christina from way back in the day when we first started at Oak Tree. I also have Takara, who you guys all know is your lifestyle manager here on the call. I have Steve Bay, who is your homeowner board member. I have Karen Erickson from Taylor Morrison, and I have Jennifer Mahaffey, who is your board declarant president from Taylor Morrison, also on the call. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you guys can see the agenda, and I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer.
All right, I'm just clearing my email so I don't get distracted. Clearing the screen. All right, so today is July 20th. I'm going to go ahead and formally call the meeting to order at 4:05. And then actually we're not approving April's minutes because we sort of lost a copy of it, but we still have our notes. So I have to recreate those. So we'll be approving April's and July's meeting minutes at the next meeting in October. So we'll go ahead and scoot past that. And that will take us right into our treasurer's report. So looks like we have our financial overview.
Yes, now I'll go ahead and read that.
Okay.
So for the June 2022 financial reports, they were emailed to the board on July 12th, 2022. As of June 30th, 2022, the current account balances are as follows. Total operating account assets, $1,008,116. Checking account, $990,214.65. Delinquency as of June 30th was 0. And owner accounts on file is 270.
Great. So that takes us to,
Our committee reports.
Yeah. So it looks like ACC's up first. I saw Lorraine on the call. So where is she?
Rain, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yep, I just did. So first, I would like to say that the ACC is still recruiting resident homeowners for the ACC committee. And we're really wanting to have broad representation in Oak Tree. So if you are a resident that lives in Colville, Okanagan, Beaufort, or 28, we'd really, really like you to consider being on the committee. So if you are interested or want to learn more, please let Dawn Wood know, and we'll get all of that moving. Second, as a resident of Ovation at Oak Tree, you are required to submit an ACC application for any work that you want done to the exterior of your house or property. And with that, we have been working diligently this last year to try to make that process really as smooth as possible for you. And recently I've been working with Miriam Hewitt, who's on the communications committee, making the access to all the ACC documents that you need to be familiar with in order to fill out an application. And I have to say, all of her hard work has made me fall in love with the portal. And that's a big stretch because initially, I just struggled with it day in and day out. And I think she'll be demonstrating some of that a little later. But it is wonderful. It is user-friendly. You should have no problems getting access to all the information that you need to fill out an ACC request, and just make it smooth for you, smooth for the committee, smooth for the whole neighborhood. So kudos to Miriam. And that's all I have for today.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, Ed, I see you there. Moving on to landscape.
Yeah, okay. Well, I also want to thank Miriam for working on the portal. I think she indeed made it a lot more user-friendly. And in that regard, I'd like to call everyone's attention to a document that the Landscape Committee put together called Frequently Asked Questions. We were getting a lot of just, curious questions of when does this happen? How do we do this? So we put together a document that's on the portal. If you look under more documents and then under the landscape folder, you'll find it. It should be the first document that pops up. And hopefully it'll answer anybody's questions of what's going on with the landscape and why. Some of the things that have been happening about the landscape, most of you probably have seen or noticed that right now the retention ponds have been mowed, which that's an annual occurrence that we do in the summer. And, that should be just finishing up. They're just finishing up behind our house here on Eagledale. I think that's the last one. So they should be done here in the next couple of days. We've been working with Monarch also. Some of you have asked about, well, when did the sprinklers come on? I don't think they're coming on. So we've been working with Monarch to monitor and adjust the sprinklers. So if you feel like you have an issue, please send a note to Dawn and we will have it checked out. But we believe at this point, all the sprinklers are working. Because it's the middle of summer, of course, it's going to be mostly in the very early hours of the day or later in the evening. So not at the highest part of the day normally. Monarch is also busy, still replacing plants. We just put in an order for plants. So that happens 3 times a year. And we will be doing the next plant order in September. So if you have a dead plant, please put in a work order with Dawn to get it replaced, and that will be included in the September order. And certain plants are replaced during certain parts of the year. So Make sure to get it. That will be the last one for 2022. Monarch, right after they get done with the planning, are going to be concentrating. I know some people have been complaining about the weeds, and indeed there have been more weeds this year, and we have been working with Monarch again to take care of those. But that sort of leads me into another subject where I'm really going to ask people to have patience with Monarch and be a little bit understanding. I think, as we all know, there's somewhat of a labor shortage in pretty much almost every industry. And of course, unfortunately, Monarch is no exception to the rule. They are busy trying to hire more people, but they also are struggling with the labor shortage. So they have to spread all the work around between fewer people, which means, doesn't mean it won't get done. It just means we have to be a little bit more patient. It might not happen immediately. Let's see. For any residents that have noticed at a certain intersection, if you pull up and you cannot see oncoming cars due to vegetation in the middle of the street in the median, again, please notify Dawn. We've been working with Monarch to trim those grasses down. We might not always notice the ones because it's obviously, it might depend on the size of car you have, how high you sit up in the seat. I might see it, whereas someone else a little bit shorter like Dawn might not. And also, speaking of being a little patient with Monarch, we have noticed that some trees have been trimmed, have had limbs trimmed by some of the residents, and we ask you not to do that. If it's something that definitely needs to be taken care of immediately, please notify Dawn, take a picture so that we can get somebody looking at it right away. But we really ask you, please don't trim the trees yourself. That actually can cause harm to the trees. And I know everybody means to do the right thing, but we don't want to lose trees just because somebody didn't quite understand how to trim the trees. And lastly, we've been working real close with the HOA board to do everything we can to make sure that you have a beautiful neighborhood. So anybody that has any recommendations, any questions, concerns, please feel free to send a note to Dawn or send a note to myself, and we will be glad to look into it. And that's all I've got for Landscape Committee.
So I'd just like to reiterate two things there. I really do encourage homeowners to look at the list of frequently asked questions that the Landscape Committee works so diligently on, and to look at the portal for those. It answers a lot of questions. It even answered some questions for some of the board members as well. In addition to that, I really want to emphasize that we do ask the board and the Landscape Committee, all homeowners, to please be patient regarding landscaping requests and perhaps the level of landscaping service that you may be accustomed to. It is true that our HOA's landscaping service provider is experiencing some staffing and hiring shortages due to the labor shortage, as well as they've had some health issues amongst some key employees they could not have foreseen. And finding an alternative vendor on short notice, if it came to that, does not seem to be a viable solution to be easily done in this current labor climate either. So please bear with us and our landscaper. Thanks.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing, piggyback on what Ed and Steve has said. Also, to kind of just tie in, I think people do mean well, and we don't need any vigilante tree trimming. Same thing goes with the irrigation. I think we all have different experiences coming into the community as well, and I think it's well-intentioned at times, but people mess with or tamper with facets of the irrigation in the ground, which actually impacts other people, thinking that they're fixing an issue, but they're actually creating an issue. So, Dawn is in close hand with Monarch all the time, communicating about all sorts of issues and needs and getting things resolved quickly. So if you see an issue, please reach out, but don't try to fix it yourself. Just because you may have had experience doesn't mean it necessarily applies in this situation. Same with the tree trimming. We someone caught sight of someone trimming the trees just recently, around 9:30 at night, by the way. With that being said, they're actually doing a lot, some harm to the current trees by the way they're cutting off branches that don't really need to be trimmed per se, is actually causing damage. So if you see someone, let us know so we can stop that. Make sure we're not creating more of a damage or cost issue. So probably enough of that. So we will go on to communication. I see Miriam. So I think she's going to share her screen.
So Mel, did you have anything to report in first before I did my portal thing? Oh, you're on mute.
Yep, fix that. Not a bunch. I just wanted to add, or put a plug in for the summer celebration. As you know, our committee helps all kinds of people communicate, from helping Dawn to doing the newsletter, Facebook page, and people like Mike Grant, who's putting together a great celebration for September 4th. So you'll be seeing some things coming from us. If you haven't yet joined the communication committee email list, please send me an email. I'll get you on it so you're always in the know. And we do have a couple of new committee members who have joined us, Cheryl Nugent and Connie Soa. We welcome them to the group, spreading the work around. And I think that was about all I wanted to say, except that one of the feathers in my cap, obviously, is twisting Miriam Hewitt's arm to join this committee and bring her with her. So take it away, Miriam.
Oh man, you guys are making me blush. And I'm afraid that Lorraine might have oversold her love of the portal a little bit, but it's inspiring. So I hope maybe I can infect a couple of other people. So it looks like you've set me up to share.
Yeah.
Great. So, you know, the portal is a platform that does what it does, and we can't change it enormously, but I've been using my experience as in my pre-retirement life, I did corporate communications and worked on a lot of websites, both external and internal. And so I've hopefully been able to use some of my experience and expertise to just sort of refine some of the documents, do some naming changes and some description changes that just make, and some organizing that just make things a little bit easier for you to find. And some of this I know I talked about at the last meeting, but we always have a little bit of different mix of people. So I'm just going to repeat a couple of things. So bear with me if you remember all of this. But first things that I did was reorganize this left-hand menu and kind of put things in order of what we think are the most commonly used things, and made sure that everything had a really clear name so you understood what was going to show when you clicked on a tab. You know, for example, events calendar shows things in a calendar format, and the events list shows things in a list format. And one of the neat things about lists that I want to make everybody aware of is whenever you see a column in one of these lists that has this little wedge, that means you can sort that column by ascending or descending order. So here I can just click this and it goes in opposite alphabetical order. So if you're looking for information about Wheedle the Needle, you don't have to scroll through the entire alphabet. You can just click that arrow and resort things. And there are a number of places throughout the portal that you can take advantage of that. Let's see what else. Under the, this is what Lorraine was waxing poetic about, was this tab that Dawn created some time back for the ACC. We kind of refined it and did a little formatting here to make it maybe a little bit easier to read. And these are all of the documents that you need to do successful ACC requests. This is standardizations, talks about what's been approved previously, so you know where to start. Resident frequently asked questions, the application form, and then the section of the Ovation Nation handbook that describes the ACC. And of course, a video that Dawn put together describing the ACC process. There's, under the HOA training videos, there are a number of things that have been created on YouTube, and I won't open up YouTube at this point, but that was another thing I was able to do, was organize the videos on YouTube into playlists. So instead of just like 50 videos out there, you can look for how-to videos for residents, recordings of board meetings. They're all in separate playlists, so it just helps you find things more quickly. One of the things that I want to talk about that is newer that I've been working on is under the More Documents section. And you know that here in the board meetings folder, there are all of the meeting minutes for the different committees and all. Sometimes those folders were also home to kind of the helpful resident documents, and they were all mixed together, and it was rather hard to find things sometimes. So what I've been working with the committee chairs recently on is making sure that there's a folder for each of those main committees out here in this main documents folder, and that it has only current and accurate documents. We found a number, for example, in the ACC section that were a little out of date or had been incorporated into the standardizations. And so we kind of want to make a one-stop shop rather than having a bunch of miscellaneous documents that might not be in agreement. And then I named everything so that they sort in kind of a logical order. So here we have the ACC application form and the guidelines. Right next to it is the tutorial video because of the way I named them. And then we kind of put descriptions here that are succinct and help you know what it is that you're going to get when you click on that link. I worked with Ed also, as he mentioned, on kind of refining the landscape resources folder. And over the next few days, we're going to get the pavilion resources. Anything that needs to be updated there, we're working on that as well, working with Jeannie and Bill on that. And so I really, really appreciate those committee chairs' cooperation with this project. I don't know that I will get everybody to fall in love with the portal, but if we can just get more people to feel like it's a resource that is somewhat easy to use and that you can count on finding accurate and current information there, that's really my goal. Lastly, I just want to say the handbook kit. This Ovation Nation handbook, Mel and I have worked really hard on to kind of really be that one-stop shop for contact information, who to call, when, if it's after hours or it's an emergency on a weekend, who can I call? Descriptions of the committees and what resources they have available for you. You'll see the last one was from April. I am just about ready to launch a brand new handbook that I think will be really helpful to everybody. So we'll announce that when that is ready to go, sometime in the next week or so, I hope. And we'll make sure that gets posted and widely known about. So I really hope that that's page, you print out the contact pages. There's just 1 or 2 pages. Put that on your fridge or somewhere that's easy to grab in your junk drawer in your kitchen. And you can have that at hand just so if something happens, you don't have to panic. You know exactly where to find, who to call. So I think that's about it for me.
Great. No, that's excellent information, and it's always good to share. I think that I know I appreciate, and I know Don does as well, all that hard work that you guys have put into reorganizing that and providing input. So that is great. Okay, we just gotta get people to use it. All right, Pavilion Committee. I saw Jeannie, so she's somewhere.
Hi, everyone.
There she is.
Yeah. Wow, Miriam, I have to tell you, I'm blown away just looking at all that hard work. That's incredible and so, so important to all of us. And to get everybody to use that portal and be able to really have it be a resource for us. Incredible. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
About the pavilion, it got a new look just recently by being power washed and stained, and it looks beautiful. Thank you, Don. I know that was, everybody it appreciates that. The look was beginning to get a little ragged around the edges, and it's really beautiful. As well, the inside has got a little bit of a refresh as well. There's a spot for Takara, and that's really, we appreciate that because I know she has a lot of work to do and a lot of great things to pass along to us. And having her have a workspace inside the pavilion is really great. Let's see. I also wanted to let you know that Bill Smiley has done some work on updating the Pavilion Pamphlet. So those are completed, and you can find those inside the pavilion, right inside the front door at the table that's inside. And I encourage everybody to get one of those. In fact, I just brought one too. We have new neighbors on the other side of us, and I wanted to give them a copy of the handbook and a copy of that Pavilion Pamphlet, because the more information we have, the better off we all are as a community. So thanks again for that. I have just a couple of housekeeping items. Everybody probably knows about, we lost this old vacuum cleaner that we had inside the pavilion, and we replaced it with a wireless carpet sweeper. And I have used it several times. It's great. We keep it plugged in right inside the front door by Takara's station there, because it's, like I said, it's wireless. So we just unplug it and you can use it to pick up any little cracker crumbs or papers or anything. Super easy to work with and super easy to empty. As well, there's a new Swiffer in that cabinet as well, where we keep the broom and dustpan. So if you get a little spillage on the floor, you can just pop in a wet Swiffer towel on the end of that Swiffer and just pick it up right away, and just easy peasy. Also, I got a phone call last night because the people that were up at the pavilion watching movies just realized that it was 80 degrees inside the community room. So I got this call from Michael, and he said, it's 80 degrees in here. It's just stifling. What are we going to do? So a lot of you don't know that there isn't air conditioning inside that community room. So I let him know that if he opened the doors to the community room out into the foyer, and then went a step further and opened the doors into the hallway past the restrooms, that those areas are air conditioned, and that air conditioning would flow back into the to the community room. And that really helped a great deal. And by not opening that back door and having the outside air compete with the air conditioning, he said it really helped. I checked in with him this morning, and he said that was good to know. And I don't think everybody knows that, because we can't really tamper with the temperatures inside the community room because of the air circulation system. But that's a good thing for all of us to know. Also, there is, for those of you that have been missing coffee, a cup of coffee once in a while, there's a new Keurig in the kitchen, just for temporary use until we get something a little more commercial unit, probably, we think about what might happen. So if you want coffee, bring a couple of coffee pods up to the community room while you're going to be there and have a cup of coffee. Please be sure and rinse your cups. If you're only using just a couple of cups, rinse them, dry them, put them right back on, so other people can have those, and we don't fill up the dishwasher with all kinds of empty things that need to be washed. So that's about all for that. Summer events, we're getting a lot of people signing up for summer events. So we've got quite a few events coming up in July and August. So if you're thinking about having a birthday party or a get together or a reunion, please, the reservation forms can be found on the portal. And you just fill those out. If you need help with it, you can contact any of the committee members, which I'll be letting you know in a few minutes who those are. Or also Dawn or Takara could help you. Takara helps us with the reservations, and she does a great job in letting us know who's ready to have an event. Let's see what else. We have a committee now, committee members of 6. Janet Inslee, Sue Anderson, and Dan Batman have joined the committee as of our July meeting. So we have 6 committee members plus our advisory committee member of Bill Smiley, whom we all adore and want to keep in that position. So that's probably all I have. Encourage you to come up to the pavilion, give us a call if you need some help with something. We are happy to help you and want to see us use our beautiful pavilion. That's it.
Thanks.
Sure.
Lots going on, that's for sure. All right, so Dawn, you want to take over with your management report?
Absolutely. And some of this stuff, it would be duplicated from what the committee chair said, but I'll go ahead and read through. So the pavilion cleaning service does the inside of the pavilion cleaning 3 days a week, or 3 evenings a week, I should say, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And during warmer temperatures, they do also clean the patio once a week. They just did clean the barbecue, and I spoke with the Pavilion Committee, and I'm going to be getting some really strong aluminum foil to put out in the barbecue to kind of save us from always having to scrub the barbecue. The Pavilion Windows quarterly contract was last cleaned on July 18th. The retention pond fence was repaired in May 2022. Retention ponds were scheduled for mowing this week, and as Ed mentioned, they should be done by the end of the week. The pavilion lobby and hallway furniture refresh was completed in May 2022. The pavilion pressure washing was done in June and then painted last week on July 14th and 15th. They just finished up the shed doors on July 19th, yesterday. So for pavilion requests such as water temperature requests or thermostat questions, we do ask that you contact me or fill out a resident request on the portal. There are legitimate reasons, as Jeannie mentioned, for the air intake for the HVAC system, but also for water temperature. I've had a lot of concerns lately that the water was too cold or too hot. And so there are legal reasons that we have a certain temperature, that it can't get too hot and that has to stay right in. It's listed right on the hot water tank. So if you have questions, of course, always feel free to reach out. Cleaning supplies, paper products, and filters are replaced by the cleaners, not by management or the Pavilion Committee. The cleaner does that. Electrician came to fix the broken patio heaters in April of 2022. And then, as Ed was mentioning, for the HOA landscaper, Monarch posts updates weekly to the portal under announcements. Homeowners, please check for these weekly updates first. Also, a reminder to homeowners not to call Monarch or grab a worker and ask them to do something special for you, or to tamper with irrigation or trim trees yourself. Report work orders directly to management. You can do that via a resident request or an email. The plant replacement orders close July 15th to start installing this week. So Friday, they just placed the plant order today. They'll start installing on Friday and do that throughout next week. And then the next round of replacements, as Ed was mentioning, will not be until September. The updated annual 2022 annual calendar is on the portal under documents. And then the next new homeowner orientation that Takara and I host will be on August the 11th at 11 a.m. Those usually last about an hour and a half. Orientation recordings are also available for viewing on the Oak Tree YouTube page. Many YouTube tutorials have been completed on the Oak Tree YouTube page, and these can be found on the portal under links. Reminder, HOA responsibilities versus non-responsibilities is posted on the Oak Tree portal under Documents, Annual Disclosures. And then just as a reminder, for after-hours emergencies for HOA, such as fire emergency or major pavilion or irrigation, major flooding, please contact the number for the Nova Solutions team. That's listed in Who to Call in the newsletter, also on the portal. For Taylor Morrison warranty emergencies, we ask that you please call Taylor Morrison warranty emergency number. And again, that is on the portal, it's in the newsletter, it's on the Who to Call. For City of Lacey water main breaks, please contact City of Lacey. We are having some homeowners call management's number constantly in the evenings and on weekends, and the Nova after hours, and insist to speak to management about warranty, construction, or something that could probably wait until the next business day. So we're being very cognizant of your budget. So we do ask that, if it's an absolute emergency, of course, call, but we want to make sure that we're pointing you to the right place. Portal updates, again, there are 270 registered emails members online, And then for the reports, I do upload for the board, the ACC report, the notes report, work order report, account details, violation, and association reports. And then there's other subscription reports such as like the work order report that I send to the landscape committee. So if any of the committees are curious or needing to see a report, just let me know and we can work with the board on that as well. And with that, I'll turn it right back over to Jennifer.
Yeah, Dawn, thanks. I kind of wanted to piggyback on one thing you said about the after hours. So obviously, if it's an emergency, 100%, please call. I think we do encounter some scenarios and situations where, you know, we're like, it's on our mind right now. I need an answer right now. And that's where, unfortunately, when they're not true emergencies, they wind up being a cost to the association. So we're trying to minimize any impact and incidences that are not necessarily necessary for that, especially as we go into our new business, which happens to be our budget advisory group. And they're going to actually speak today about what they've been doing and what their plans are for the future. So I'm just going to go ahead and segue. I think I saw everyone who's part of the budget advisory group on the call. And I think William was going to speak. Or was it Mary?
Yeah, John's going to start.
John's going to start. Okay. I can't see everyone because, you know, it's like shared
Okay,
screen,
okay.
So go for it.
Okay. Hi, I'm John Bullock. I'm a member of the Budget Advisory Group. The other two members are Mary Alice Groban and William Dickey. So we've been gathering information over the past 3 months, and William is going to give you an update and our calendar for the next 5 months. You will be getting an email blast from the advisory group recapping today's presentation. William will continue from here.
Thanks, Sean. For those of you who don't know me, I'm William. My wife Jan and I moved in November of 2019. We spent the first few months getting settled, evenings after work and on weekends, and just around the time we attended our first community event, COVID hit. We went into what I like to call a COVID cocoon to avoid large gatherings, and it pretty well stayed there for the last 2.5 years. We're looking forward to coming out of our cocoon and getting a chance to meet more of you. Here's our update on what your budget advisory group has been up to and our calendar over the next 5 months. We've been meeting on a weekly basis since early May. During that time, we've reviewed and analyzed 4 years of annual financial statements from 2018 through 2021. We've also reviewed the monthly financial statements for 2022. This review process helped us gain a better understanding of the prior year's expenses while we were waiting for the preliminary 2023 budget. Based on our analysis, we developed a financial model in Microsoft Excel to evaluate the 2023 budget for reasonableness. Now, we'll update that model as new expense information becomes available. Now, each year, the proposed HOA budget is developed by Nova, our association management company. Dawn Wood, our HOA manager, and the Nova team gather expense information from our vendors to develop the proposed budget. The budget's reviewed by the HOA board, who determines the final budget to present to the homeowners for ratification. Now, in prior years, the proposed budget would be developed in September. This year, to facilitate the budget advisory group's involvement in the review process, Nova completed the preliminary budget by mid-July. So now our heavy lifting begins. Our role is to take the preliminary 2023 budget and review, analyze, question, discuss, debate, and recommend. We like to say our role is to review and recommend. Now, even before seeing the preliminary budget, we identified 3 challenges that will impact the 2023 budget. The first challenge, projecting expenses for the villages when it's not even finished. The exact completion date is unknown, and there's no prior year expense history for guidance. It's also a challenge to get vendor bids for services on a facility that's not built. Second challenge, we had a 6-month pause in new home construction. And we've all seen a very slow restart of construction. The third challenge, the current inflation rate is the highest in 40 years. Not having a crystal ball, projecting expenses 6 to 18 months from now is difficult, to say the least. Quick sip of water. We know the burning questions you're all thinking about. Are the monthly HOA dues going to have to increase for 2023? And if so, by how much? We wish we could answer those questions today. But with the 3 challenges putting increasing pressure on the HOA monthly dues, we need to gather as much information as we can between now and October to have the final answers. Next, we want to communicate our calendar over the next 5 months. So we want you to know what to expect and when to expect it. We're separating our communication into 2 types. The first type is us delivering information to you. The second is you providing feedback or input to us. So as far as us delivering information, in mid-August, we want to share the information of what we've learned about our HOA budget. And we also want to share how we're approaching our role to review and recommend. Now, we're going to share this information in a video and in writing. This will allow you to review the video at your convenience, and it avoids a group gathering with the continuing COVID concerns out there. In mid-October, the budget will be released. One of the first recommendations we made to the HOA board was to release the budget earlier to give you more time to review it before the ratification meeting. Along with the written budget from the HOA board, we'll provide a video and a written review of the budget by your budget advisory group. Then November 16th at 4 p.m., that is the scheduled date for the HOA budget ratification meeting. In addition to those items, we will contribute articles in the next 2 issues of the Ovation Nation newsletter. Now, vehicles for you to provide feedback and input to us. From mid-August through mid-November, we're providing you 2 options for feedback and input. The first option is you can submit written input, can be provided using the request area in the HOA portal. We'd appreciate your written input, and we will take it into consideration, but we won't be able to respond to those written inquiries from the portal. So if you have questions, use our second input option. We'll hold office hours. We'll be held at the Pavilion on various dates and times to allow you to meet with us in person and give your feedback. Now, we feel 2023 is going to be kind of an exciting and an important year for our community. We take very seriously our role in contributing to it being a successful one. So on behalf of John and Mary Alice, we hope you have a great summer.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I'm going to say that the board's been very excited, and we feel grateful that we do have the assistance of this budget advisory group, not only for us, but for you as owners as well, and the community as a whole. They've been great with asking questions, and they got right on it immediately, and we got them the information. So they're doing an amazing job, and I think owners will really appreciate all of your guys' efforts, not just the board, but everyone will appreciate your efforts that you guys are going to dive into real deep here soon. Mary Alice, did you have anything to add? I didn't know if you were going to say anything as well.
No, thanks, Jennifer. We were relying on William. He did a great job covering it.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is all, like William said, it's going to get e-blasted out. So for those that didn't attend today's meeting and haven't had a chance to watch it, you'll get your e-blast with, like he said, their forms of communications, methods, calendar, timelines, etc. So more to come on that, but that's awesome. And then I think the next item here is Landscape Committee FAQs, which Ed addressed, which is on the portal. We do highly, highly encourage everyone to read it. They did a really great job of addressing many, many topics and being really succinct and clear about a lot of landscaping And then I believe we have some updated standardizations as well from the ACC committee that also exist on the portal. So if you're getting ready to do a project, please review that first and foremost, and then go ahead and submit your applications. So we kind of already addressed a little bit on the agenda. The next topic was after hours. So we just want to be more mindful of that. I know, self-included, I tend to be kind of a fixated individual at times. Like, I want to know now, I want an answer. But yeah, just some things can wait. True emergencies, obviously, you know, we do have the great assistance with NOVA. They do have an after hours service. So if it's truly emergency and say something's geysering, you know, there are ways to get a hold of a team. And if Dawn's not available, you know, someone can help assist. We do have a backup plan. So please feel free to utilize that. And like Dawn said, utilize the warranty for warranty. So anything that's your home, inside your home, is definitely a different point of contact than the HOA. Okay, and then Takara has a little update for us on lifestyle, and she's here.
Hello, how's everyone doing today? So I just want to first and foremost say thank you so much to everybody that came out to our groundbreaking event that we had at the end of last month. If you were not able to attend and you wanted to take an opportunity to sign our commemorative golden shovel, I have it here in the pavilion, so stop by and see me at any time. It will be hung up as part of the memento wall that we'll put together for the villages once that is completed. Next, I wanted to let everyone know that there is going to be a survey that's going to be coming out in August. It's a quick, just kind of get to know you survey on how we're doing with lifestyle, the dates that you're most likely to participate, timing, types of events that you're interested in, so that as we get into our 2023 year, we can kind of dial it in very specifically to the community. So please watch out for that. It'll show up in your inbox. If you don't see it by the second week of August, please check your junk folder, because sometimes that's where my emails end up as well. And then last and not least, I wanted to take an opportunity to let you know that for this holiday season, in order to encompass as much as this community is looking forward to, I'm going to be putting out a invitation for a holiday season committee for planning and decorating. So if that is something that you are interested in participating in, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know. We will begin our planning process more towards the end of September. But if that is something that you are interested in, please do not hesitate to reach out to me in the near future. As always, the calendar for upcoming events is available in the lobby of the pavilion, on the bulletin board, on the portal, as well as emailed at the beginning of every month. So we hope to see you at some of our events sometime soon.
Great. So if you didn't pick up on that, that means we're having a holiday party. So this will be the first of kind of what we have in terms of our Taylor Morrison. There's multiple names for it, but we'll call it kind of like a signature event, where it's a larger event where your ownership comes and gets to attend and have a good time. So yes, we're going to have COVID, you know, safety, fingers crossed that we all stay healthy. We're going to have a party. So that's exciting. So yeah, Takara's had a great idea to have a committee to get people involved with helping organize, like she said, decorating and planning, and, you know, look for that survey so we can get some really good feedback on how to shape that party. So that will be great. So then it goes into the Taylor Morrison update. I'm going to touch on one thing that William said in his presentations. We don't have like an exact date of July 20th, 2023 for the villages, but we can safely narrow it down to summer of 2023 for the first building, which would be more of the general amenities building, and probably a lot of the exterior around that building, things like possibly pickleball, depending on where things are located. Programming, that's what I mean, programming outside the building. And the pool is still on schedule. The fitness building / pool is still on schedule to deliver about a month or so right behind that building. So they're currently still on track, and we're moving forward with those. So, you know, we're getting there. And touch on something that Jeannie kind of referenced in the pavilion. I'm working with the culinary experience team with Taylor Morrison's Esplanade, which is their active lifestyle team, on getting an upgraded commercial coffee maker for the pavilion. So we can kind of move away from the Keurig. That would be something more permanent used. It would be ground beans. And I believe that the machine that we're looking at would be able to produce at a higher volume, and it can produce pots and cups. So currently we've identified a machine, and I got to work with Takara and Dawn on some accessories for things like creamers and sugars and things like that. So in about a month or so, we're going to have a, depending on when it actually gets ordered, and I will let the people, the Pavilion Committee and Dawn and Takara know when that gets ordered, so we can have an estimation of when we'll have an upgraded coffee presentation service for the pavilion. So we won't have K-Pods, we won't have a Keurig, nothing funky, so it'll be available. So Taylor Morrison's going to purchase and provide the initial machine and accessories and whatnot, and then we'll discuss how we can function with the coffee. Gives us a great opportunity to have events like Roaster of the Month or a tasting event. So look forward to, they tried to get me to use some corporate coffee, and I was like, no, we live in Seattle. We're not doing that. Sorry, looks like hotel coffee. So I kind of pushed back because we were kind of coffee connoisseurs over the Northwest. And I'm like, no, we'll get our own beef. Thanks. So that's coming up. And then construction. This is also something that William referenced. Yes, there was the delay that most of us are aware about. And then we had a little bit of a slow start. Yes, we did get some great news today. So we do have, I wrote down the number, we have 25 sales in backlog that we are getting our permits tomorrow morning. So we'll be starting on a lot of foundation work for all those sales that are in the queue. So what that means in terms of the construction rate is that you'll see a flurry of activity for these ones that we have permits for, and we'll get those closed, but you won't see a lot of standing inventory right now. Because really, I think with the economy and the rates changing and things that like Steve's referenced, William's referenced, you will see probably likely everything that's getting built probably right now has a sale attached to it. So not a lot of standing inventory. Not that we've always had a lot of standing inventory, but we've had a few. Usually we're ahead a little bit. So it may take some time to get back there, and our intent is to get back there. But now that we've gotten, we're getting a bulk of those permits tomorrow, and we can start moving forward. It sounds kind of lame, but Thurston County literally has transitioned everyone in their department. Everyone is new, complete full turnover. So it's created some shortages of people and accessibility of getting things done in a timely manner, but they're catching up. So that allows us to catch up. So that's pretty much what we have right now in terms of, I know there's, every home that closes, we collect capital contribution for our association and our funding, and that's important. So we are going to be a little bit behind what we previously projected for 2020. What are we in? 2022. But we have ideas, and we're hoping to be back on track moving into 2023. So that's kind of the general construction update. But yeah, a little bit of a slow start, like Bill said, William said. So yeah, hopefully we'll start to see more activity going forth. Let's see. So I guess this brings us to homeowner form. Anyone want to put a question in the chat or unmute themselves?
Let's see, chat.
Let's see.
I just got a thank you to the budget advisory group.
Nice.
Indeed.
Oh, you must have gotten that. Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, they just sent it to me.
Oh, that's great.
But I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
Well, while we're in the homeowner forum, feel free to ask any question you want. The board did want to pose a question to the attendees here.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it a little bit, but we were interested in your opinion. When a homeowner doesn't follow the homeowner's handbook or their home's warranty phone numbers, it may cause the HOA to incur a cost from our management company in overtime expenses or and vendor expenses. So what would you have us do as an association, as fellow homeowners? What do you suggest for a policy for someone who does this, where we might want to pursue reimbursement to the association or something else? What type of solutions would you have in mind?
This might be something you need to think about too. So also, I saw Mary Alice, But you might, think about it too. And if you have ideas and suggestions, please feel free, if you're not comfortable speaking on the forum now, always send them to Dawn. We'll definitely review and take them in consideration. Mary Alice?
Thank you. Well, the first thing comes to my mind, Steve, is that just to be sure that if there were eventually to be a charge, to be sure that somebody didn't walk into that accidentally, so that if there is, if the response team, whoever gets these calls, is aware that what they're getting a call about is something that can wait for a business day, for instance, if they can inform the homeowner, if there were to be consequences, because there are people who are not attending the meetings and some people who are not very computer literate or interested in computer information, and they may just wander into this accidentally, and I would be concerned about that.
I had also unmuted about the same time as Mary Alice did. Great minds think alike. Steve, I think, we plan to provide the board some general recommendations at the budget advisory group. You had asked us for that. And we're going to be compiling those separate from even the 2023 budget. So that's one I think that was recently in my mind. So we'll put our heads together and provide a recommendation to the board.
Yeah, I think for us, I totally understand where Mary Alice's point is, because we wouldn't want to just automatically create a charge. I think it would be sort of something we'd have to talk about. Well, we've had a few of these, they come and go in flurries, but we had one fairly recently where it wasn't a true emergency, but what was communicated to get what they wanted, they made it sound like something major had happened, when in reality, it was something quite minute. So we don't always have people who are very forthcoming or, being as specific as possible what the issue is. And that's where we're kind of curious on how do we handle things like this, because this is the background stuff that I don't think homeowners realize that we do encounter quite a bit. And so just trying to brainstorm and maybe get some ideas and feedback from the ownership. So like I said, some of you might want to just ponder it a little bit. And obviously the budget advisory group's also going to provide some feedback, but it kind of puts us in a little awkward position too, as well. We don't want to, it's not just about incurring additional costs. I think we want to make sure we're also, following the handbook and doing what we should, but obviously true emergencies will be honored. That's not the intention. So just those little awkward, sticky moments that we get in the background. We sometimes ponder and don't know what to do with it. Well, great. If anyone thinks of anything, like we've always said, please do not be afraid to reach out to Dawn. Did you get something?
I do have another question. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this because it's very specific to the villages.
Okay.
In a meeting of people interested in pickleball, there was mention of making sure that any fencing around the pickleball courts going into the villages was far enough away to provide plenty of space to play the game properly and not be worried about hitting the fence with a paddle because the fence is too close or running into it chasing a ball. Gotcha.
I will not be able to answer that today, but it's something that I can see if they've gotten that far in terms of that type of amenity. I know they're still working on the interior programming, so I can ask, and if I have any information, we can share that. So.
Nice. Well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions in the chat.
Great. Well, if that's the case, look at us. We can adjourn right at 4:50. Yeah, nice. Got a lot in today.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll formally adjourn at 4:59. And like Dawn says, give her a little bit. She'll get it compressed. She'll get it uploaded for those that didn't attend the meeting, and look for your budget advisory group communication to come out soon.
Yes.
Great. Enjoy that sun and stay hydrated for next week. Looks like it could be.
It's going to be warm next week.
Yeah.
Next meeting is October 26th, and I just want to give a big, huge thanks to our budget advisory group for all their hard work, all of our committees that are working so hard and have gone above and beyond over the past few months. I'm so grateful for you. And then, of course, to our board for all their hard work and for joining us in hosting a another great meeting at Oak Tree.
You and Takara as well. We're team HOA, right?
Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good job.